Hi, I'm Terry Brock, and today you're in for a treat. If you have children and you want to know some ways to raise them the right way, you're going to find some real interesting ideas as I talk to Ann McNeil. She is a person that has worked with many children. She has worked with her mastermind ideas. She is in charge of the International Mastermind Association. Ann, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Terry.
Tell me a little bit about raising children and the concept of mastermind. Now, I'm familiar with masterminds and how important they are. How does that benefit someone who's raising children?
Well, Terry, I have to speak from firsthand experience. My daughters both were raised in a mastermind group. And a mastermind group, for those of you that may not be aware, is just a small group of people who come together to serve as an accountability group on the goals and objectives and dreams and visions for each other.
I like that, accountability group. It's like, okay,
Accountability.
we're holding your feet to the fire on this one.
Exactly.
You're going to be accountable
You're going to be
for
accountable
what you're doing.
for whatever you said you want to do.
Okay.
So very often, like New Year's, we make New Year's resolutions, but then we're not held accountable for achieving those New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, we kind of forget about them on January 2nd.
Exactly. And then we don't actually write an action plan for them or put a date to them. So now let's translate that to our children. And again, speaking personally, my children have been raised in a mastermind group, and so has my grandson. But many of our mastermind members within our organization have children that were raised with us while we were masterminding. And we didn't actually start out by saying we were going to form a youth mastermind group. It happened actually accidentally. It's just that as the parents were masterminding, the kids were there, because, you know, what do we normally do when we go to meetings? A lot of us, if you don't have a babysitter, you just take your kids along with you. And what we found over the years, and I'll just again speak for myself, my daughter, when she first started, my second daughter, Ione McNeil, she started at about 8 years old. And we were having a meeting, and we were ending the meeting and standing to pray as we would. This is how we end our meetings. And you can end your meeting any way you choose. But anyway, she said, but mommy, I want to give my report. And she'd never done that before, and nobody ever thought about it. So one of our members, by the name of Mia Merritt, she said, okay, honey, go ahead and give your report. And so she said, well, I want to get straight A's in school. Now, this is 8 years old. I think she's like third grade at that time. She said, I want to get straight A's in school. That's my educational goal. She said, my recreation goal is I want to learn how to play golf, and I want to learn how to play basketball.
Wow.
And she said, my financial goal is that I want to make a lot of money. Now, fast forward that 10 years later, as a senior in high school at 18 years old, she was the captain of her basketball team, and her team was the state champions for Florida, 3A, for 3 years.
Whoa.
State champions, yes.
3 years.
3
That's
years.
great.
And she was also captain of her golf team in high school. But also, she started a business speaking to youth on investing at age 14. And when she was 18 years old, Guardian Insurance ranked her #1 in the United States out of 5,000 girls her age for their award called Girls Going Places, and gave her a full scholarship and flew her out and her family out to their national conference where she spoke as their national speaker for all the financial planners.
And of course, that would be you as part of her family.
Absolutely,
So
myself and her dad.
To see that.
Exactly, but
what
she's
kind of
not.
principles did you use so that she could really learn those kinds of things?
Well, that's what I was going to say. She is just one of the many kids who have masterminded with us. The principles we use we have 10 categories for the adults. The kids basically get to choose only 4 categories. And for her, she chose her education, her recreation, which for kids, you know, it's very important, and she wanted to make money. So
Good for her.
She started learning about investing at a very early age, and then her spiritual goal she thought was important as she grew older. Many of the other kids now are developing a separate program solely for the kids, because we've watched the kids grow up. Another young lady who also started at about age 9, and now she's 16, is Samantha Baker. And Samantha started masterminding with her mom, Nefretta Thomas, and just accidentally, and one year she came to the conference, and she had cut off shorts and just a t-shirt, and she sat and she listened. The next year, she came as our first speaker. She was fully dressed, very appropriately, stockings and shoes, and had her hair beautiful. And she brought her presentation, her annual report, in a binder with her picture on the front, had her goals typed and her accomplishments, because what we do every year, we talk about what did we achieve the previous year in every area, and what are our goals the upcoming year for what the kids do the same thing. So this particular year, she came and she had her accomplishments for the previous year, and then she had her goals. And one of her goals, Terry, was to have 5 shares of Aflac stock. She had it typed. This was January the 6th. It was January 15th. Was Martin Luther King's birthday weekend, and we had our annual meeting. And she said, "Well, my goal is to have 5 shares of Aflac stock. And my action plan is that I know my mommy does not have money, a lot of money to do this, so I'm going to pray for it." And of course, you know, everybody's thinking, yes, right, that's really nice, little girl. But by February the 4th, we took the kids to Orlando, to the World Money Show. 3,000 participants at this conference. Aflac, which happened to be one of the exhibitors, did a drawing. Out of 3,000 people, what would be the likelihood that this one child would win 5 shares of Aflac stock? Not 1 share, not 10 shares, but 5 shares of stock. She won. And the end of the story is that she ended up becoming one of the youngest Aflac investors, and Aflac put her in their annual report and did a 2-page story on her. But that's just one of the kids that has been masterminding with us now for many years, and that have had great success because they set goals and an action plan with a date.
Excellent. So they're learning important principles as children.
How to set
and
goals.
putting it together. And having met Ione, your daughter.
Yes.
And very, very impressed with what she has done.
Yes.
She is just one person. She knows finance. She talks about it now in a very important way in a time when the market needs that.
Exactly.
And she's encouraging. I know she's going to be watching this, so Ione, good for you. Keep up the good work there.
Right.
And
she's branded herself as the baby billionaire. So she's now developing that brand, and the same that other kids can do the same thing, and that's what I wanted
baby
to
billionaire.
The baby billionaire.
That
yes.
is great.
Yes.
See, and I think if more kids learned that and started using those principles at her age
Yes.
and younger, I think we would have a much better and much different world than we
Yes.
have today.
And I don't think they're too young to start setting goals.
Right, I agree.
My grandson started setting goals at a very early age, and you met him at
Yes,
the
Malachi.
at the National Speakers Conference.
Hi, Malachi. Keep it up, buddy. He's good with cameras, too, and
Yes,
video.
he
I know
is.
that.
Yeah, but that was one of his goals.
Yeah.
To learn technology.
See, so you're taking the principles of the mastermind group that
Exactly.
Napoleon Hill, Andrew Carnegie talked about
Exactly.
years ago, and now they're applying to the next generation.
Exactly.
For kids coming up today, because these principles work overall.
Exactly.
And I think that's the whole point, that with the mastermind groups, with the idea that you have in the association, the International Mastermind Association,
Yes.
people learn about these things, and then they can communicate it not only for themselves, but to their children.
Exactly. And I think I'd like to ask a question of anyone listening to this or viewing this. Do you know the goals and visions and dreams of your children?
Ooh, that's
And
good.
equally as important, do they know your goals, your dreams, and your visions? Because if you know the goals of each, you can help each other achieve those goals. But if you don't know, then we are destined to not achieve them.
Then we're wandering around going, gee, I'm going to help you get this car. And you go, that's nice, but it's not really one of my goals.
Exactly.
We need to clearly work together. And it sounds like that's where, here's a concept, parents and children talking together.
Exactly.
To develop those goals.
And writing them down.
Writing them down,
And creating
you
an
bet.
action plan with a date and holding each other accountable on a regular basis.
You bet. You know, and somehow I can see Napoleon Hill smiling and going, yep.
That's it.
Yeah,
Thank
I can
you.
hear Andrew Carnegie going, Right on.
That's
yes.
it.
Yeah. I don't know if he
That's
said that, but I can just hear him saying it right
Yes,
now.
yes.
So I think that's good. Well, now, if someone who says, gee, this sounds great, I'd like to get involved, I'd like to learn more about it, possibly consider it for my children, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Well, they can get in touch with me by going to our website, which is internationalmasterminders.com, or you can go to my website, which is Ann McNeill, that's McNeill.com, AnnMcNeill.com, or internationalmasterminders.com.
Well, Ann McNeill, you've helped a lot of
Thank
people.
you.
We're so glad that you could join us
Thank
today.
you.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Terry.